TV. Good afternoon and welcome. It's Rowney TV and it's a live broadcast during the lockdown period. And we've got a guest. We've got our club coach, our mentor, our guru, the man who's designed golfing careers at the club from the practice range straight to the prize winners table. So, John, I'm just bringing you in. Just say hi to everyone.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about somebody else. I was looking to see if somebody was walking in. How are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, it's great to see it. So you are live at the moment from Majestic Mansions up in Onchan. I think the helicopter pad's just finished, has it? That's all been built. Yep. If you've got any,
I'm in my garage, which I've converted into a bit of a small studio. I've just been putting in a screen or whatever, but there you go. That's where we are. I've got the mat hitting a few, but not as many as I should be.
Well, just to the viewers, you'll know John is the club coach for Rowney Golf Club and has been with us for some time. And I can see that we've got a good collection of folk watching, those of you that are keen on our beautiful game. Now, if you have got any questions for John, please pop them in the comments box. We can see anything that comes in. Try and share the page. Send the message out there that we're actually beaming out across the media channels. So, John, first things first, it's lockdown. People are getting a little bit frustrated. It's very difficult if you've just got your own company on the golf course. What kind of things can you do to get round things and perhaps spice things up?
Wow, spice things up. I think there's enough spice in the game, Jed, without having to think of other things to spice it up. But I think the issue about being in lockdown is this: that you can use the time to as you want out of the game, or you can let the time go by, get back into the golf course as and when, and just play the same as you usually did. But it is an opportunity to find out exactly, first and foremost, what it is you want to do, what it is your weaknesses are, what you want to improve on, and to put together a program, if you're so inclined, to make that improvement and make that steps. And to do that, you have to be single-minded in the goals that you set. And it's no use, going back and saying, "Oh, my putting's crap, and it was crap before." I've lost distance, and you lost distance before. This is the time, if you really want to get better, and there will be better times ahead, to determine what it is exactly you want out of the game and what it is that needs to improve.
But the thing is, John, a lot of us, if you're not got a golfer in your household and we've got a spell out on the course, it's 9 holes, whatever, what kind of drills can you kind of force yourself to do, or a bit of discipline maybe, or any ideas?
Well, the first thing, Jed, I would say is because clearly at the moment the course is closed and we only get out for 9 holes and it's not qualifying, and that's fine. But there's a lot you can do. There's a lot you can do at home. You don't necessarily need to be on the course to improve. If you can do all sorts of things. First thing I would say that people underestimate but has massive value is visualization, and to visualize how it is you think you swing and how you want to swing. And what I say to a lot of guys that come to me is that if you spend 10 minutes a day looking at things like Falcon Glass, that's FAULKORNGLASS, Falcon Glass, or just go on YouTube and search for best animated golf swing. You'll see on there to a quite a sort of upbeat bit of music, a golf swing that just repeats itself. Now, from a technical point of view, I think it overswings a little bit for today's golf clubs. But you can just sit there and absorb what feedback you get from that. You can see the stability, you can see the turn, see the flow, and then you can put yourself into that. Now, it might sound a bit out there for a lot of people, or some people, but when you talk and when you listen to people who win major tournaments for the first time or whatever, and they turn around and say, "I dreamt about this all my life." There's a massive association between matching what you see on a screen and putting yourself in that environment, in that situation. Now, I can share with you a true story about this. About 15, 18 years ago, when I first started on this golf coaching journey, I used a guy called Peter Hudson. Peter's actually just written the introduction to the new, or the latest edition of In the Game of Golf. And so he was at Carden Park. I spent about 10 days with him at Carden Park. And then one day he said to me, John, he said, do you understand what it feels like, and can you hit a golf ball left-handed? So I immediately declared my absolute total dread at the thought of embarrassing myself with a left-handed golf club. So what we did, this is going back that many years, and to me at that time the swing of the golf club, the best swing of the golf club at that time was Ernie Els. Fabulous golf swing. So he put Ernie Els on his computer swing, and he flipped it so Ernie Els was swinging left-handed. So for 45 minutes I watched Ernie Els swinging left-handed. And he was saying things to me like, look at the stability, look at the power, see where all of these sort of things. And I was really absorbed into that vision, that visual on the screen. And then he said, I want you to step into the screen. So I went into the screen, said, hear what the sound is when that ball, all of these things were going on, and then step into his body. Now, you might think this is nonsense, but it actually is. We all do it. We all daydream. We can all visualize. We can all project. So I was in there and I was swinging with Ernie Els and rhythm and tempo. And after about 45 minutes, we went on to the golf range. I did a bit of stretching on the side. He put a ball down on a tee peg, and he gave me an 8-iron, left-handed 8-iron. And he said, I want you to hit this 8-iron 140 yards with 3 yards left to right over the one on the 140 marker. I put the ball down. I duffed the first, duffed the second. On the third one, I hit the ball with 3 yards left to right, directly over the one, right over the one on the 140. He said, that we'll leave it at that. Now, how can I do that when I literally within an hour? I've hit a golf ball 140 yards with a left-handed golf club with three yards of left to right. It's just the power of allowing my subconscious to absorb all the information and then replicate through my body. Now, you can do that. You can do that for 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. You can put yourself in the screen, and you can then go onto a mirror or something and put a dot on where your head is, and you can swing and turn and keep your focus on the dot, so that you're not moving too much left and right and rising and falling. You can do all sorts of things. You can have cross your arms here. You can get your turn, your rotation, your movement. You don't necessarily need to be on the range or on the golf course to improve what it feels like to swing the way that you want to swing.
So let's just summarise that. We're talking about visualisation, and perhaps are you thinking about picking a golfer that you like in particular, maybe, or is there kind of one that you go to? You mentioned there was Ernie Els that came into the frame there, who's known for having a beautiful, silky, smooth swing. Should we be picking our own favourite golfers and trying to emulate them?
The issue about that, you need a system then to just loop the swing. So Falcon Glass does that anyway. It's just it's a silhouette. It's an animation. So that will do that. One thing I would say about that is that it's very, very important. I believe that you shouldn't be trying to emulate a golfer. I mean, trying to swing and think you can swing like like any of these, like a Rory McIlroy or a Dustin Johnson. It's just not going to happen. These are prime athletes. They've got all the support, etc., playing for a long time. And you're not going to replicate that. Far better to emulate some of the lady tour players and whatever. And these ladies are like 5'5", 5'6", they're banging it 300 yards. They haven't got the power that the men got, but they've got this rhythm and this timing. And so I think you could certainly watch some of that and get a better idea for what's required.
I'd imagine there's a lot of members out there who enjoy watching ladies golf for that reason, because things look so simple, don't they? I don't know what it is about the ladies when you're watching the ladies tour. It just kind of takes all the aggression out of it. It's much more on the style. I just find it more pleasing to the eye for getting the right strike, if you know what I mean.
Well, I do, Jed, and you've got to remember there's a couple of things that's important here. One is that they are very, 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 very strong in the ground, right? So they're very stable. They're flexible. They have, and we can talk a little bit later about flexibility and stability, which is one of two of the major points in terms of why we lose consistency and distance. but they're very flexible and they swing with flow. They swing with flow, and flow is a connection between mind and body. The mind doesn't get in the way; it allows the body to swing, and it just becomes aware of what's happening. And they just let it go, don't they? There's no holding back. Great finish. In fact, just reading a little bit of a small book, it was quite fascinating, called Point A Golf. And every shot starts from point A. But what it says is you have a start in a golf swing and a finish in a golf swing, and there's nothing in between. So all of these thoughts about doing this and getting here, and obviously you have to be aware of the club face, but it's just let it go. And we all tend to swing with trying to hit the ball wrong and trying to hit it too hard.
Okay.
So centering, rounded. Yeah.
I get that. I subscribe to that, and I've followed your mantra, and it serves me very well. But what happens to the player who is struggling, who perhaps is hitting the odd shank, or is just not getting the ball away? I'm thinking about, we've got some great new members at the club at Rowney, and sometimes you see them out kind of hacking it up the fairway. Is this some sort of a little bit of advice that you could just give to get round that and maybe kind of hit the reset button? A good thought? Well, the first is don't try. The more you try, the worse it'll get. Nobody ever played good golf if they were really trying. You can become aware, you can have your attention on something, but if you're trying to get it there, it won't happen. What I would say to the beginners is this: there's nothing wrong if you really want to put the ball on a tee peg. If they're that big, if they're beginning, just knock it off a tee peg. I don't understand what the issue. No, you're not playing in a competition. Does it matter? Knock it off the tee peg. The second thing I would say is that you've got to remember that the ball is never your target. The ball gets in the way, and you're sending the ball to the target. And a lot of the time, what happens is halfway through the downswing, the ball, you change your target from the green, which is 100 yards down here, whatever it might be, to the ball, and so you hit the ball. Now, if you strike the ball and you make a bad shot, I'm saying that's 100% successful because you hit your target, which became the ball. You cannot change your target halfway through a swing. So the objective is to deliver the club in an easy, flowing manner through the ball to the ground, if you're using an iron, to the ground in front of the ball, and allow the club to do the work. And as long as you literally put more attention on the ground through the club through the ball to the ground and swing with flow, you can have much more of a success story than you are trying to get the ball to your target. So the more you concentrate on the target, the more you think about a target, the more you see a target, the more the ball will go there. It is difficult because sometimes our members, struggle with, it could be like the ball position, it could be the grip, and really that's where you come into play, isn't it? Where we've got the practice range, we've got the swing room. It's important that members just know those basics, and there must be three things: grip, stance, alignment. That's what you see in the textbooks. What have you got to say about that?
Well, if you want to enjoy a better performance now, and the other thing I would say here, this is not about performance. Okay, if we measure ourselves on performance, then it's going to be a very lonely and very rapid downhill path, because the more skill we acquire, the more critical we become, the more judgmental we become, and the more dissatisfied we become. Because what was a good shot last month, or a reasonable shot last month, because you've got better this month, isn't so good. And it's a proven fact that that pro golfers, tournament players, are in the lowest 25% of the happiest people in business. Right? They just can't get satisfied. So the three things that you can control on the golf course are this: one is state. You can decide, before you get out of your car, before you leave home, before you get your clubs ready or whatever, you can decide that today you are going to be happy, that you are going to accept every single shot, irrespective of outcome, and there's no condition on accepting that shot. That you can decide that it doesn't matter who you're playing with or whether you're slow. By the way, one of the things I find that the beginners struggle with more than anything else is the fact that there are people behind them. It's amazing how much awareness you have about the pressure that you put yourself under. Somebody's behind on the tee, and you don't want to hold them up, so off you go, and you don't put enough attention on your shot. So that's a major factor. So they need to be much more aware of the fact that they've every right to be there, and it's probably going to be quicker for them if they make a reasonable shot, so they take a little bit more time. And as players who have played a while, we ought to be more courteous or more mindful that we don't want to be putting pressure on them. So there's two sides to that. So you can decide your state before you leave the car park. Okay, and you can be. And we had I do a Zoom on Monday nights. We had a conversation on Monday night about conditional confidence and unconditional confidence. And it's amazing how you can go on the golf course and have this unconditional confidence. Oh, I'm going to be great today, but you miss a couple of short putts, and suddenly over the next short putt, you're not so confident. You're actually conditionally confident. So you can be confident, you can accept, and so state is something that you can determine before you get there. The second thing that you can determine, and the second thing you control, because there are only three things, is your stability. And that's your static and dynamic stability. You're going to be solid, you're going to be in the ground, you're going to keep your balance, you're going to stay centered, and you can be all of those things, and you can determine that. And the third thing, probably the most important thing, is tempo. Tempo changes, and it's only these small indiscretions of tempo change, and that they get a little bit of tension in here. You start the downswing too fast, you try and hit the ball here, you don't finish your shot, you slow it down here. It's all about the tempo and the flow. And if you can go on the golf course and replicate the tempo and flow that you get in a swing where there's no ball, or you have your eyes closed, and that's another great thing that you can do in lockdown in your kitchen, in your bedroom, you can swing with your eyes closed and know what that feels like. If you can replicate that when the ball gets in the way, then you're definitely going to have an improvement in your game.
I am in full agreement with that, and tempo for me has been the key to a lot of good and not so good rounds over the last year. So just tuning in, we've got some viewers, we've got some of our Rowney golfers. I'll just pick a few out. We've got Tim Williams, he's a big fan of Rowney TV. We've got Tomo, Justin Hawley. Who else we got? We've got Barnsley from Port St Mary. The Sheik of Port St Mary is online. Oh, we've got the Miller Man, our fabulous greenkeeper. Oh God, we've got Henry Armstrong. No smarmy comments in the box, please, Henry. You know you tie me up in knots every time I see you. We've got Dave Quayle from Castletown. Excellent. So if anyone has got anything to say, any comments, any questions, please put them in the box. Now then, John, it's been a bit of I wouldn't say a phenomenon, you coming to Rowney, but we've seen some great players come through the ranks. I know we've got those that have appeared in the prize winners enclosure, and we've had, what can I say, an academy that's just generating a lot of lady golfers. So what do you think's happening in the club? Why has the game got a bit of a resurgence? Was it lockdown last year, or is golf back in fashion?
Well, we had lockdown last year, but we had great support from the beginners and improvers sessions from the year before that. Great support. I'd like to see more men getting in there and coming as a group of improvers and whatever. But certainly on the ladies' side, it's just been phenomenal, and it's great to see. I think there's a recognition that how do I put this? This isn't meant to come like, I don't know how I'm going to make this sound as it should sound. But you see, this what we do is not teaching, right? It's not teaching. It's coaching, and it's learning, and it's creating an environment where people can to get much more together with themselves and the environment they're in, and to be appreciative of it rather than to be tied up on the technical stuff. Now, in fact, I did people don't realise how much technical work I do in a lesson, but it's not delivered in a technical way. In fact, I had somebody a few weeks ago, a very, very good player on the island, very, very good player, who has had a weakness in his putting. and just the other day we were exchanging an update, and he said, well, you've got to remember that we haven't done anything technical. So I said, well, that's interesting. So has your ball position changed? Yeah. Has your shoulder alignment changed? Yes. As where you're looking over the ball, as you're now looking over the heel of the putter, not the middle of the ball, has that changed? Yes. And the list of technical things that have changed isn't because I imposed a technical regime on him. All it was where is it comfortable? Where do you notice? Where can you feel more? And where can you be relaxed and confident in delivering that club through the ball? And the body after thousands and thousands of years of development finds a way to correct itself. And so when I see 90% of club golfers who take the club back on the inside, loop it over here, throw it out there, cast it across the body, stall the lower half, swing across in and fake a finish. What that is the body is compensating for something else that's going on. Change the attention on where the club head needs to be delivered, and the body works it out. I don't say drop your hands here so much, and you're coming down at 8 degrees here, and it should be 6 degrees, and the ball spin is that. It's not how it works. Everybody's individual. Everybody's got a swing, and it's a swing that's within them. And my job as a coach is to bring it out. Now, clearly there are some fundamentals in terms of being centered, in terms of width and whatever, but everybody works within a broad parameter. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. You know me, I'm a disciple, sir. But I've just picked up a comment in the box, and it's from a young man who lives in Ballabeg by the name of Finlow Neil, and he's asking.
Hi, Finn.
He's asking, who's John's prediction for a Rowney member to watch out for in 2021? Now, I don't know whether this relates to drinking capacity at the bar, or whether it's ability on the golf course, or could be another facet. But who are we looking out for, John? who's appeared on your radar?
On my radar, in terms of what, winning or what? I mean,
well,
how do you measure looking out for?
Well, I mean, we are going back to performance again, and we can ream off a list of names. We've got the masterful Johnny Weir, we've got Andrew Ronan, we've got Dewan Conran, we've got the Neil dynasty, we've got Barbara, we've got numerous players that have been picking up prizes, but there must be at times when you just go, oh, hang on a minute, this one's a good one, this one's got it, without putting anyone under pressure.
Well, listen, I don't think it'd be right for me to pick anybody out, really, would it? Individually, but you've mentioned a few there that I can tell you now that what we've sat down with a lot of these people and said is, what is it you want for next year, and what do you think you can achieve by certain dates, and then put a program in to get there. So there's individual programs been set up on practice regimes and all sorts, and measurements, targets. I mean, it's okay saying I want to improve and I want to be a category 1 by June next year, whatever it might be. But unless you write it down and commit to it and measure it on the way, then you've got to have this absolutely overwhelming desired goal, which is nothing's going to get in the way of. But I'm suggesting that some of those there, you're going to get there's 3 there that I believe are going to drop about 7 shots on the handicap by end of June. And anybody that's going to drop 7 shots on the end of the handicap is going to be on the board, aren't they? So
and that's not me or you, Finn.
Well, Finn's capable of a lot more as well. A lot more.
No,
and he's doing very well, and he's done very well. It's good.
It's been great fun and a lot of satisfaction, and what a journey people go on when they take to the fairways for the first time and they get that handicap, and nowadays anyone can compete. We've got these 9-hole competitions. The season will be starting soon, and it's a case of practice your game, hone your game, love your game, take part, and if that's what you want to do, you can pick up some pots. It's great.
You've got to love yourself. You've got to love yourself on the course as well. You see, we are not our performance. We're not our results.
No.
The golf is much more than the par. Much more.
Yeah.
to be associated with and play in the golf course, and to appreciate what you're part of, it's an amazing sport. It's an amazing. I don't think there's another sport that gives you anything like the feedback you can get from golf. The feedback we give ourselves is quite damaging, though. Is the way we speak to ourselves on the golf course is absolutely horrendous. And one of the things I would say to anybody that wants to make big improvements, the first thing you do is change your language. If you were to talk to your playing partners the way you talk to yourself, then you'd be up in court. It doesn't make any sense. So it's just because you miss a short putt, just because you knock it out of bounds, just because. It doesn't make you a bad person, and you can go and win the biggest competition you can play in. Within a month it's forgotten. It's not about the result. It's about what you learn.
I think
there's learning in everything.
I think on that note, and it's something that I picked up from you. It's going to be over a year ago, and it's about just enjoying the moment, enjoying the ball strike. Forget everything else. Is just hitting a ball out the centre, and just that connection. And really, when it's gone, you've got no control over where it lands. But you've got no control of anything once the ball's left the club face.
Yeah. But we only play golf for solid hit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
solid hit is it.
Yeah.
And you get a better solid hit the less you try. A number of times, you must remember when you've hit a golf ball and it's just gone, and you've gone, how the hell did that happen? It's just effortless. I mean, you could probably remember both of them, but
yeah.
But it is.
They both went in though. They both went in.
Yeah, right. You can't have solid hit unless you have your attention on the ball, on the club face going through the ball.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between trying and attention. And the more focused our attention is, the more enjoyment we get. And you've got to remember that if you play golf and you hit 100, you play golf and you have 100 shots in a round, you're only playing for 3 minutes a round.
Well, we're out there for other reasons. We're out there for the camaraderie, the fresh air, the beauty, the chat, and just escapism, isn't it? Really, that's what makes golf so attractive, because it is, 4 hours, and then we can go in the clubhouse and then just enjoy the a la carte offering and the fine food and service. It's remarkable, or whatever you like to do. Or we can be like, when I'm playing with Toby, we'll go and watch the football and have a pint afterwards, and it completes the day. Yeah. And if you played well, superb.
Yeah, there is a bit more to. Yeah, you are right. Of course, you're right. There's all of that. But when I say you're only playing for 3 minutes, you've got to remember that there is a process that you go through which is more than 3 minutes, and you can't focus on a golf course for 4.5 hours. The pros don't do it in tournaments. You have to have a trigger point. You get to the ball, the bag's on the side, and you make an assessment. Now this is your time, this is your moment, and when you've made that assessment, you pick your club. You've got to have a commitment to that shot. Remember as well that it's the shot that determines the swing. Now that, to a lot of beginners and in fact improvers, they think that there's only one swing and there's only one place or only one shape. But it's like, I think it was Sam Snead was saying that he was going up, let's say it's the 18th at Augusta, and he hit the ball right to left, and he hit one left to right, and his playing partner said, God, Sam, you hit the ball right to left. How the hell did you hit it left to right like that? He said, I just thought left to right. See, our body will make a movement to send the club through the ball, to allow the ball to go a certain way. And the more you can be curious about how it happens about a golfer, the more enjoyment you become. But you have this trigger point, you put the bag there, you look at it, you make the assessment, you take your club out your bag, you step across an imaginary line because you put one in there which says, like, this is my thinking area. And once you've gone over that line, there's no more thinking. There's no swing thoughts. If you want people to improve, if people want to improve and people want to get better quickly, take away swing thoughts. Swing thoughts are absolutely of no use at all, as are tips, by the way. Nothing like it. A tip's only going to last 2 rounds. It's just a waste of time having a tip. We're going to revert back to type what's comfortable. So you have a couple of practice swings with your target in mind. You go back to the ball and you see your target when you look at the ball, and you replicate what you felt in that swing.
Right.
You replicate what you felt in the swing.
I've got a question about. I've got a question about that, John. And by the way, we're still doing well for the viewers. So if you've got any questions for John, just pop them in the box because we'll be turning off in about 5 minutes. So in the comments box there, please just fire in a question before we close out. But John, okay, you mentioned that about tips. And I think, now and again we tinker. Somebody might say, push your left foot back and what have you. So...
Sorry, can I ask a question? Is the person that's saying push your left foot back, is that a qualified person or somebody that thinks they're helping?
It could be either, but what I'm getting to, John, is how do we achieve that state of play, that state of mind where we are in a good place and we know what we're doing and we can hit a shot instinctively. So I think about a tennis player where the ball is coming bouncing to the racket and they'll hit it instantaneously without putting the thought in, which is, I think this is what we want to do with golf, isn't it? Is to make it as least complex and as complicated as possible. But it's finding yourself in that position in the first place where you think, I've got the confidence, I know how to hit it, I'm set up right, I'm gripping right, and I can get the ball away.
Well, what you do, Jed, is you get out of your mind and into your body. You can only have a thought if you're in your mind. You can't be present if you're in your mind. You can only be present if you're in your body. So the idea is to allow yourself to swing freely, to be aware of how your body is moving, and just go to put the ball in the way and let your body go. It's just being aware of your body, how it's turning, how you send. Because if I said to you, in fact, I think I might have done this with you, to walk along the floor or up a flight of stairs or whatever, and then you would just go and do it. If I said to you, I want you to do it in a certain way and put your left heel down and your right first and then your right toe down and all of this, you wouldn't walk so freely then. Things get in the way and would block it. It's the thoughts in the mind, these technical thoughts. You cannot swing with a technical thought. You cannot swing with trying to fix something. And if you try to fix something, you're generally trying to avoid something. And the mind can't work that way. You've got to play in the subconscious mind, not in the thinking mind or the conscious mind. The subconscious mind is the size of this ball. There's the subconscious mind. Okay? And if I cut a golf ball, oh, there we go. And there's the size of the conscious mind. And all we want to do is we keep playing in the conscious mind. And it's in the subconscious mind where we want to be. That's where we are artistic and we feel and we experience. We don't think it up here. We don't feel it up here. This can't help us. It's where we want to be in this. So allow yourself to swing without trying to fix anything. Fantastic place to be. Hold your finish. And you know what? Accept what's ever happened, and just put yourself in that. And then if it's not right, if it hasn't gone as well as you expected it, or wanted it to go, or hoped it would go, or visualized it was going, you simply step aside and you swing again. Say, "Oh, that felt better," and off you go. And next time you'll get it. You've just got to be patient, and you've got to be observant. You've got to be aware of what your body is doing, and to be present, you've got to be in your body. You want to be in the zone, you're in your body.
Well, folks, how profound is that? What a note to finish on. It's not the golf ball, it's a Swiss ball, it's a beach ball.
You haven't asked me about it.
Well, I think we'll come back. We've done 30 minutes, which is enough for one episode of getting into your golf over lockdown. So thank you very much for tuning in this afternoon. Thank you very much, John. Teed Up Golf. And
no problem.
If you do watch again when this is streamed or posted on YouTube, or if you review the Facebook page at some point and you've got any comments to make, any suggestions, any reactions, just put them in the box, and maybe in our next episode, if there is a next episode, we can have a review and come up with something new. But for the moment, it's time to go. So cheerio.
Cheers, everybody. Thank you.